half a century old, and I find myself, yes, 50 years. Since the last 2 days, yes. And I find myself reflecting on my earlier life as a queer child. I don't know how all of us grew up, but for me, unfortunately, I grew up in an environment that did not fully accept me as I was. And it was really confusing because at the same time that I was not accepted, I did understand that I needed my family. I needed my community. They were integral to my survival. See, my family is a migrant family. We were extremely, extremely poor. And there we were in a situation where if we did not have help from those around us, there was no way we could survive. So I moved forward with that ambivalence around community for my early adolescence, trying to figure out where do I fit in with that if I can't show up as my whole self. Fast forward years later, I finished with my studies and I got my first corporate job. So I am moving from the East Coast in America to the West Coast. What a dream, right? And the first thing I do in my old beat up Cadillac is I drive into Seattle and I find the Wild Rose. For those of you that may not know, the Wild Rose is a lesbian bar. And I walked in there and immediately I felt at home. I met all sorts of people in there. But what was really important is that I could show up. I could show up as my whole self. I could express myself. And people didn't have this idea that somehow who I was intrinsically was bad because I was born as a queer person. That sparked a fire for me. How can I be a part of a space that I can get this kind of community that is so important to all of us, but at the same time freeing, not restricting, not unhealthy? How do I help to build those kinds of spaces? And that would spark a fire that would inform my life's work and what I do right now. The Wild Rose was my portal to freedom. And I have taken that portal and I have rediscovered myself because I fully understood that I could not show up into community in the way that I wanted to build it unless I fully grew and evolved and healed myself, so that when I was welcoming people into that community, that it would be a fully formed vision. I knew that there could be ideas of community that would not be healthy for folks, and I did not want to recreate that. So one of the things that we know about why community is important is that loneliness is an epidemic. It can make our premature death increase by 30%. The Surgeon General of the United States, the old one, back when we had one, says that it's equivalent to smoking 15 cigarettes a day. Could you imagine? And we know that in all of our needs, we need physiological safety, we need psychological safety, we need self-awareness, we need self-actualization. And in those needs, community can fill all of those slots, but the community has to be sustainable. It has to be something where we are all welcome, where we are all accepted. The first thing I had to develop within myself was courage. The courage to be my full self. The courage to come into situations that I was unfamiliar with the confidence that I would be able to negotiate those situations. And the courage to feel that I could inspire that in other people. So you do not find community, you practice community. Community is more of like something we do like exercise. We build it brick by brick, but the first brick that we have to now lay is within ourselves. So what are some things that you need to lay in terms of your foundation to build a true community? One is self-awareness. What is your impact? How do people receive you? Regardless of your intention, what kind of energy is there when you leave the room? too. We have to be willing to be vulnerable. We have to be willing to say, this is who I am, regardless of what you may think. I want to know who you are. I am willing to be intimate in such a space, right? And 3, we have to have that courage. We have to be able to say, we're in this together. That solidarity is what brings us freedom and what brings us into the future together. And 4, we have to be willing to repair. Any harm in community, in relationship is inevitable, but we can come back from it. There is this idea right now that I would love to change, and that is that harm is permanent. Harm, it can be devastating, but it does not have to be permanent. We can use harm as information that we can heal from together. So, what I want to leave you with is this. Community is an inside job. If you work on building a community within yourself, if you are fully accepting yourself, if yourself is a place where you are finding healing and hope, you can radiate that outside and you could build it. With my work at the Villa Vita, the Queer Community Cafe here, my goal is to inspire people to be themselves, to come together, and to inspire all manner of projects from that I can't even imagine where it will go in 50 years from now. Can you imagine? Hopefully I'll be around. So remember, community is what? An inside job. Thank you.